Well, we're nearly 3 months in 2019. Please ignore my hair. But anyways, 3 months in 2019, and there has been a ton of extreme weather events across the globe. Whereabouts this occurred, you're about to find out. Roll the intros. The storm has now arrived. Hey up guys, it's Stormboy13. We have got another video out for you. As we know, we're 3 months into the year of 2019, and already across the globe there has been a ton of extreme weather events happening. So, what's the detail? You're about to find out. Well, as we know, this year so far has been marked by high impact weather in many parts of the world, including record heat, mainly in the southern hemisphere, wildfires, and rainfall in South America and Australasia, dangerous and extreme cold in North America, and of course heavy snowfall in the Alps and Himalayas. So globally, temperatures were a little over 0.4 degrees warmer than the average January from 1981 to 2010, according to the EU's Copenhagen Climate Change Service. Australia has continued to experience exceptionally hot conditions. Further regions with a much above average temperatures including the Middle East and eastern Siberia, Mongolia and northeastern China. Regions of below average temperatures were quite widespread over land and over the frozen Arctic Ocean. In Europe, temperatures were close to or just below average, so nothing too unusual for Europe this winter so far. Well, this year so far. The Alps experienced much above average snowfall along the northern part of the eastern Mediterranean, and the northwest Spain rainfall was much above average, leading to several rivers overflowing and, sadly, a number of fatalities. Australia, southern Africa and eastern Brazil, as it is in their summertime, had saw very dry conditions. Madagascar and northern Argentina, not so dry, saw much wetter than average conditions. The latter was severely affected by flooding, according to the Copenhagen Climate Change Service. So let's go through more detail. So as we know, in Australasia, Australia had faced many extremes. Parts of the state of Queensland saw record rainfall late January and early February as a result of a monsoonal drought. The town of Townsville received 1 year's rainfall in the space of 9 days, a new record, prompting flooding and the evacuation of hundreds of people. The Bureau said the flood risk will continue into the first week of February. By the way, this is just the winter update, and then what's the March update? You're going to find out shortly. And as we know, so 5th of February, the Bureau of Meteorology issued yet another flood warning for the Upper Burdekin River in Queensland, in northern Australia. We have done the calculations, and the flow moving past Margrusian Bridge is to fill about 2.6 Sydney Harbours every day, and is still increasing. And Australia has also had its warmest January on record. It's had a new series of heat waves unprecedented in their scale and the duration. The overall rainfall was 38% below average for January. Tasmania has also had its driest January on record. But it's not just that, Australia has also had an unusual extended period of heat waves, which began in early December 2018 and continued into January. The city of Adelaide had reached a new record of 46.6 degrees Celsius on the 24th of January. Other records in southern Australia included Wallina 48.5 degrees Celsius, Kaduna 48.6 degrees Celsius, Port Augusta 49.1 degrees Celsius, according to the Bureau of Meteorology. It's not just that, large fires have fueled by extremely dry and hot conditions have been burning since mid-January in central and southeast Tasmania. Many of the fires in the Royal Headage area hitting rare Gondwana ecosystems only found in Tasmania, which historically do not burn. Right, we've done Australia. We're now focused on United Kingdom, or probably not Europe, probably. Northern Hemisphere, particularly in Europe and North America. Large parts of North America were gripped by an influx of Arctic air late January. So combined with gusty winds, this is producing dangerous wind chills across a significant portion of the upper Midwest into the northeast USA. The frigid air mass is also supporting heavy lake effect snows downwind of the Great Lakes. The US National Weather Service said the temperatures will be well below average over the upper Mississippi Valley, Great Lakes, into parts of the northern mid-Atlantic. Southern Minnesota, the wind chill factor had pushed readings down to minus 65 degrees Fahrenheit back on the first shift of January. The natural low temperature record was measured at minus 56 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 48.9 degrees Celsius. Quite incredible. And also a bit of interesting news. The first week of February has seen a temperature swing. Several record high temperatures were broken or tied across parts of the eastern US a week later, on the 4th of February, according to the National Weather Service. This included 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 degrees Celsius in Buffalo, New York. I wouldn't say that'll be a heat wave, but significantly warmer. And 61 degrees Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius in Syracuse, close by in New Jersey. The cold weather in the eastern United States certainly does not disprove climate change. Then we move on to February and beginning of March. Although 2019 got off to a relatively slow start in the tornado year, the slow start doesn't necessarily mean much. Well, closing out February and entering into March, there was two significant tornado events. While the first one didn't have huge numbers, it did drop the year's first killer tornado. The March 3rd outbreak had ended up one of the deadliest in recent years, with confirmed tornadoes in Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina. Impactful outbreaks, with at least 20 confirmed tornadoes, and or a killer tornado or near 3 tornado on March the 3rd. It has caused 23 deaths and 97 injuries on the EF4, and in EF3 thankfully only caused 2 injuries, no deaths. And then with February 23rd, there was a couple of EF3 and an EF4 tornado. 1 death, 11 injuries were reported. So basically there's been 24 tornado deaths so far in 2019, 1 in the February 23rd tornado even, and 23 on March the 3rd. So yeah, basically there's been hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of damage across central southern United States. Yeah, so what will this spring bring? I'll update you later on in the year. And then as we fast forward a couple of weeks later, in parts of Africa, not a nice story. Cyclone Adi might be Southern Hemisphere's worst such disaster. Millions from Mozambique, Malawi and Zimbabwe was affected as houses and roads were submerged. The devastating cyclone that hit southeastern Africa may be the worst ever disaster to strike the Southern Hemisphere, according to the United Nations, UN. Cyclone Adi has swept through Mozambique, Malawi and Zimbabwe over the past, a couple of weeks ago, a week ago at least, destroying almost everything in its path, causing devastating floods, killing and injuring thousands of people and ruining crops. More than 2.6 million people could be affected across the 3 countries, and the port city of Berea, which was hit last week, Friday the 22nd of March, and is home to 500,000 people, is now an island in an ocean almost completely cut off. Correction, Friday the 15th of March, not 22nd. Anyways, back to the news. We know the official death tolls in Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Malawi are 200, 98 and 56 respectively. But these totals only scratch the surface. The real toll may not be known for many months, maybe even half the year, if the countries deal with a still unfolding disaster. Mozambique's president, Philip Nyusi, announced 3 days of natural mourning from late on Tuesday last week to Thursday to Friday, and said his government would declare a natural emergency. We know the country's been hit by cyclones and floods before. The most devastating in recent memory were in 2000, but these could be even worse. Houses, roads and telegraph poles are completely submerged. The Mozambican and South African military and other organisations are working to rescue people from the air, though many are struggling to get supplies and teams to the region because roads and bridges have been ripped up or have huge sinkholes in them, making the rescue mission ever so more difficult. Some people are even stranded clinging to trees, others are on houses or new islands that are formed and have no food, according to rescue workers. Last thing to mention, sometimes from a message from Ian Searcher from SQSA. So he told the AFP, sometimes we can only save 2 out of 5. Sometimes we'd rather drop food and go to someone else who is in much bigger danger. We just save what we can save and the others will perish. A pilot doing a survey for Mission Aviation Fellowship flew over the basin of Rusi River in Mozambique, which had burst its banks, and was able to provide the first information on the area. It was a heartbreaking flight today. This was the day when he flew over, as we flew over many miles of flooded land in the Rusi River basin. We saw many people stranded on rooftops, surrounded by kilometres of water. It was difficult to comprehend and think about how probably may have perished. Rick Emmermaker told his South African site Luvonda. With its first flights leaving on Sunday and one mobile network Mavoti just restored, more details are beginning to emerge of what happened in Burari when the cyclone hit. It is a total mess here. Please pray for the thousands and thousands who have lost their homes, said Jim Lovey, an Australian who runs a mission, school in Burari, in an email message. People are in trees and on rooftops. Emergency relief crews are slowly coming in. Rains continue to make it all even harder. So many lives lost and homes destroyed. Yeah, sorry if it's not the most cheerful video of the year, but as we know, sometimes these events can happen in parts of the country, and it's never going to be a very pleasant way that way. But anyway, it's really 3 months in. What will the rest of the 9 months bring? Well, you're going to have to wait and see. That's about it for this video. So yes, these are the weather disasters that we know with parts of the globe have occurred this year, witnessed. There will be another video potentially out later this week, I can't guarantee it. I may have plans to get another video out later in the week. But anyways, have a great week, great rest of the week, guys, if you know. And as always, if you want me to do any more videos, like, comment, subscribe. I'm more than happy to do them for you. And that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Have a fantastic rest of the week, as always. Whatever day you're watching this, Storm's now out.